Hello everybody, I'm Ernest. It's the last day at sea. Cup of coffee. So yesterday's film was about the boat and what there is on the boat, and sort of a tour and a day at sea. Today I'm going to talk about tips and what I've learned. This is the 7th day or 8th day on the ship, and I've learned a few things. And one thing I just learned is when I was getting my coffee, there was a lady there and she had a Yeti tumbler, and she brought it on the trip, and this is her first time using it this morning. And she said, I said, yeah, I've had this thing in my suitcase this whole time, and I just now using it on the very last day. Is there another ship on the distance? So, a tumbler. I would recommend a tumbler for water, for coffee, for whatever, because all they're going to give you is smaller cups like this size, for water, for juice, for whatever you get. But if you have a tumbler, you can fill it up yourself, because it's self-serve here for most drinks. So that's tip number one. Moved over here into the shade. The other thing would be Fenneman napkins. My daughter ran out and she was looking for some, and she went and she couldn't find none. So I don't know if that's true or not. It's kind of hard to believe. But Fenneman napkins. That's tip number two. The other thing I would recommend is in the rooms, in the cabins, there is only one outlet. Well, at least in the Carnival Dream, I'm on the Carnival Dream. There's only one outlet for 115, a standard American plug. One in the cabin and one in the bathroom. And the one in the bathroom, you have to leave the light on in order for the plug to work. Now, we have 4 people in our cabin. We all have cell phones and tablets and such. We can only plug, one at a time. So bring a duplex plug adapter or something like that, so you can plug all your cell phones in. Tip number 3. The other thing I would bring is I brought long sleeve fishing shirts, because the sun is intense. When we were in the Bahamas, when we came back, I saw a lot of people burnt. Their faces, their shoulders get burnt by the sun. It's real intense, and I'm sure they all put sunscreen on just like I did, but it gets washed away in that water. And if you wear your long sleeve, those dry shirts or whatever, those real loose ones, dry shirts, because that sunscreen is not going to protect you against that sun and water. It just washes away. It's been my experience. And I know some of y'all want to get color, I guess, but I would bring one of those shirts. And the other thing, I would bring one of those large hats. Those large hats, like a Gilligan style hat. You know what I'm talking about? Those large brim, protect you from the sun. The sun is intense and it will burn you, even with sunscreen on. Unless you got some kind of super duper sunscreen. And don't forget sunscreen, by the way. The other thing I would recommend is a mask, a COVID mask. I noticed when we were in Freeport, the shop owners of all the souvenir shops would not let you in um, unless you had a COVID mask on there. So I had to stand on the outside of the stores. It every shop, just about every shop we went to, said no mask, no service. So a mask. So that's tip. What's that? 4 and 5. 4 and 5. So here's another tip. In the dining area, in the buffet, it usually gets packed. But if you come to the very back of the ship, on the Carnival Dream anyway, and I'm assuming maybe other ships have the same thing, and you go upstairs to the upstairs dining area, it is abandoned out here, and you can always find a seat. You see, down there is the buffet line. You just come up the stairways, and you got all the ocean views you want. That is tip number 6. So tip number 7 is get up early and use the hot tubs and the swimming pools if you don't like a crowd. Tip number 7. So another tip I would recommend is bring some cash, because when you get off on the island, there's going to be some smaller markets that only use cash. And also, I guess that'd be tip number 8, and tip number 9 would be negotiate. In those little shops, you can they'll give you a price, and it's expected that you haggle, and just be fair with them. You know that they are trying to make a living. But if you feel like paying full price, well, go ahead. I would only like haggle $1 or $2. I just felt like, well, they're trying to make a living, and we're only talking about, you know, from $5 to $10 items. So I forget what tip I'm on. Okay. So tip number 10 would be sale items. I'm not much in buying fine jewelry or colognes or anything like that. We're here in the atrium. Tip number 10. See this watch I'm wearing? It's the retail on it is $1,800. I got it for $300. It's an Etivia, which is an expense. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't even know how to say it. It's my first time buying such an expensive watch. I got it for $300, and I bought a second watch. Well, actually, I bought 4 watches. So they were like 70%, 75% marked off. This one was actually more than that, and it's a collector's series watch. I'm not a watch person, but I recognize the price and said, you know what, I'm gonna splurge and get one. So I bought 4 watches altogether. That's tip number 10. The other thing, well, is sale items. Under the sale items thing I can recommend is the colognes. I saw some name brands, Hugo, was that DNKY, other types, Calvin Klein. They're all for $39. I'm assuming that's a good deal. So that's not tip number 10, is the sale items that are in the jewelry shop. What are we on? Tip number 11. So tip number 11 is bring your workout clothes, because they have a very nice gym in here, and I've used it several times, me and my daughter. So bring your workout clothes. Tip number 11. I don't know if this counts as a tip, but these little clips for your towels, I see a lot of people have them. I don't really use them, but I would think that'd be helpful. Maybe bring your own. I don't know if the ship is supplying these or not. I think I saw them yesterday right here, so I'm not really sure. What's that? 12? Tip 12? Okay, let's count it. Tip 12. So I'm sitting here in the Serenity deck, and what I think we're tip 13. See this, your card? I have a habit of carrying it loosely in my pocket, and every time I take my phone out to video, I lose it. This is my third one. So they sell lanyards, or you can bring a lanyard here if you're a person that's prone to losing things. I would bring one. So I'm sitting here in the still on the Serenity deck. As you can see, there's the bed that's behind me. It's as a covering. It's a nice little place. We like to come out here. Tip 14. Let's see if I can get the horizontal. Okay, as you can see, we're at sea, and the boat slightly rocks. Now, nobody in my party has complained about motion sickness on the big boat, but when we were on the excursion, we went on a small boat, and just about everybody but me got sick. So motion sickness pills, whatever thing works for you. I think they have some down at the store, but motion sickness will medication might help. So what's that? Tip 14? Tip 14. Okay, so this reminds me of this. I guess what call it tip. What, we're 15. There's a steam room up here in the spa area in the men's bathroom. I didn't know, and I would have used it more often if I would have known. I just discovered it yesterday. The other thing, the vaccinated issue. This is July of 2022. They're still requiring vaccinations. Let's go inside the steam room so you can see. Also be a little tour of the steam room. Whew, it's a nice steam room. I mean, as far as the temperature, a little steamy. Okay, but what I was alluding to is getting COVID tested. I paid for it at the dock. It was $400, but there's ways to do it at home or some cheaper way that you could do it. I would recommend that. But this steam room is really nice. What's that? 15. I guess we'll count the vaccination tip as tip number 16. Do your research on the COVID testing, if that's still a thing when you decide to cruise. And this is the men's spa bathroom, and it has showers, lockers, and a steam room. I don't know what tip this is, but there is a laundromat on the ship. I think there's 3 of them on this particular one, Carnival Cruise. What tip is that? 17? And you don't have to bring soap, washer and dryer. That's $2 for the soap. I think $3 for the washer and $3 for the dryer. Well, I guess 17 is enough tips for today. Here in the bedroom, it's in the evening. It's our last night on the ship. We'll be debarking in the morning. 17 tips. That's all could come to mind. I'm sure there's more stuff that will come later, and I'll say, oh, I should have added that. But this video is long enough, and you're probably not even going to watch it halfway. So, you know, it's all right. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope that this video helped anybody that's cruising. I'll see you next time.